Well, hey everyone, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the wonderful ground control Cyclops Brewer. Definitely the best brewer out there right now. This is from Voga Coffee. And ever since the ground control is launched, it's really been making waves. It's revolutionized what we can expect from batch brewers because the technology, that's SCA award-winning technology, allows you incredible control over a broad range of flavors in your coffee. You can dial that coffee in ways that you couldn't even believe. And on top of being the best batch brewer that you can purchase right now, this is also a wonderful tool because it allows you to make things like hot chocolate, tea, batched iced lattes, cold brew. The ground control is so versatile in that way. And so if you're interested in leveling up your batch brew coffee experience and really offer your customers the best your coffee has to offer, really draw that out, and also have something that's versatile and can be flexible with you and your business, which I think is especially important now, then I think the ground control Cyclops Brewer is a perfect choice for your cafe. So to find out more information, go to their website at vogacoffee.com. That's VOGA coffee.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly. Espressly works with independent coffee shops like yours to deliver a beautifully designed and elegantly functional branded mobile app. Mobile ordering is here to stay. It is a vital part of any retail expression at this point. And I think that working with a company like Espressly is a great option because sometimes you have to sacrifice the experience that you get in person at a shop when you are trying to do mobile ordering. The app that you might be using right now is lacking that experience, and that's where Espressly comes in because they marry the two. And so it's a no-risk model. There's no setup or development fees. It integrates with Square, has a payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities, and it stores the value in the app. And plus, on top of that, you get to keep all of the data. And so this is definitely something that you should look into. To sign up and learn more information, go to their website today, espressly.co. That's espressly.co. All right, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about detoxing your work life. And, there's infinite ways that life and work can be toxic. And of course, we're not going to be able to get to all of the examples of toxicity. And really, I'm not even here to talk about toxic things as much as I am talking about what to expect when you detox. And of course, this sounds like I'm on one of these wellness podcasts, which I'm a fan of personally. Try to stay healthy, One of the things that got me thinking about this is the fact that I'm personally, as a middle-aged man, trying to, live forever and trying to get healthy. I want to run around with my son so that I don't feel like I'm going to literally die each time. So I've made changes even recently that have taken time to actually take. They have become more habits now than they were before, like something called intermittent fasting, where you don't eat for 16 hours and then you have an eating window. It's all this fun stuff. Let's not go down that road. But the point is there's a learning curve to this, and that learning curve is not fun. It's sometimes painful. It's sometimes just you don't get the same kind of reinforcement that you used to get with old habits that you had. When you're changing a habit, when you're changing the way that you act or behave, you're kind of rewiring your system. And so this is true with basically anything in your life, with health, with relationships, but at work, when we're talking about changing a dynamic of how you operate. Let's say if you're trying to become a better manager and you've got a tendency to be harsh with people. And people have told you this, and one day you came to the realization that they are actually right. I need to make a change. I need to detox the way I am as a leader, and I need to do this yesterday. So you get on it, you buy some books, you listen to Keys to the Shop, or whatever you do to start getting enough momentum behind your decision to help you. Intuitively, you know that you need this because there's going to be resistance. There's going to be the old way always at the ready, always just at the side of your eyesight that you can latch on to. So if you're presented with a barista that frustrates you for some reason, then you're presented with a decision. Well, I know that I want to be different in the way I respond. So on the side, there's this old way, which is comfortable. I feel confident using that old way. I feel like I can just use it anytime, But then there's this new way, which I'm a little clumsy at, and it doesn't feel as good using it because I'm not as confident doing it, but I know it's right. So our confidence is often misplaced where the skill we use is actually the barometer of whether or not this is a good decision in the moment. So the skill with which you wield a toxic behavior does not make that behavior better. It just makes you skillful at being, a jerk or whatever. And we don't have to use such extreme examples. There are like smaller examples we could talk about where it just might be changing the way that you have your ordering process go at the counter. That is very benign. But still, there's the confidence of the old way. Maybe it was not as good as this new way, but it was comfortable. And so we're always trying to avoid this pain of change, even if we are convinced that this new way is better for us. So the key here is that in our decision to move forward with a new way of operating in the workplace or in our own head, in our life, we have to make sure that we are accounting for the existence of pain and, frankly, suffering, depending on how big of a change it is, and that we are willing to go through that in order to establish this new normal operating system. This pain in the present equals a better future a lot of times. So that's where detoxing your work life comes into play. Detoxing, if you just look into it, there's uncomfortable things about it. But if you stick with it and you just continue to reinforce in your own mind that this is the right decision, and I know that even though I'm confident in my ability to use the old way, it doesn't make the old way better simply because I feel more comfortable using it. That kind of convenience thinking is what got us into trouble in the first place. So that's what I wanted to encourage you with today. In this show, there are lots of opportunities for you to have moments where something clicks and you realize that this would be good to do, or I need this, or you might be convicted about a behavior that you're doing that is causing, less than stellar results in work or relationships. And so, awesome if that's true for you. Now, the next step would be to take account of what is going to happen when you take the next step. That's part of the process. But if you just enter into it and just expect that your virtuous motives for doing this are going to pave the way and make this a smooth transition, that's delusional. That won't happen. The older I get, the more comfortable I get with being uncomfortable. That's just necessity speaking at some level with joints and et cetera. But in other ways of being uncomfortable, recognizing that is the price to pay for changing into something better. But it eventually opens up to this reward where you see the difference it's making, and it also feels good because now you've become skillful in doing something better. And better meaning better than the thing you were doing before. And so as you look at the topics that come up on this show or the things that you hear just on your way through the coffee industry and you are wanting to adopt something that's different, just recognize that detoxing your work life and life in general will bring the resistance and it'll bring pain, but it's worth it. Remember, just because we feel comfortable with an old way doesn't make that way the right way. And so with that, that's the end of our episode. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I'm sure I could go on indefinitely about these types of things. One book that might be helpful for you is the book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. And of course, my favorite standby recommendation would be the book Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. And so with that, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. And I'll see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.